Hey guys, what is happening and welcome to this vlog. So today's vlog question was an interesting one. I wasn't going to talk about this, but you know what? Like, it seems like a good thing to talk about, especially after coming off this really intense psychological course that I went on last weekend, which lasted 4 days. Now, basically, the question was, do I have any regrets in moving to Canada? And I would say no. No, I don't have any regrets. I used to be a person that was full of regret, and you know that leads you into being depressed, really, because you can't regret anything. Whatever happens, even if it's a problem or an issue, you want to learn something from it. Never walk away from something without learning from it, because if you learn from it, you're growing, and if you're growing, you're going to be more content. Like humans, we actually get happiness simply from growing, believe it or not. It's not that difficult, it's very simple. So when we feel like we're growing and learning, we're content, we're happy. So even if there's problems or issues, never regret what you've done. We've had so many things that have been problems that we've had to deal with since moving to Canada. And one thing I would really say is, like, when we moved here, I wish I had known how it's such a psychological thing moving to another country. Like most things in life, like starting a business, you know, people think it's all about you need the money or you need this and that, and it's not. You just need the correct mindset to do it. And the same goes for moving to another country. Now, when you move to another country, the thing is, it's going to be very intense on your head. When you arrive, you almost go through grief, like grief of losing a family member, but you haven't lost a family member, you moved country. And it's so weird and hard to explain, and that's what we call the culture shock. But essentially what it is I guess because all your family may be in another country, you are in intense pain when you move, and you keep getting reminded of this pain because it's so natural that we want to keep in touch with our family, especially when we first move. Like, you want to keep in touch even more, but little do you know that kind of hinders you a little bit, because you're constantly almost looking in the rearview mirror. And if you're constantly looking in the rearview mirror, then you may crash into something, you may hit potholes, all kinds of things can happen. It's important when you move to another country to maintain contact, but not go over the top. You know, Jess met this girl once who was from England, and she ended up moving back. I think she was in Canada like a couple of months. And really, that is nothing to do with moving to Canada, in my opinion. If somebody moves back in that period of time, it's actually just because mentally they couldn't hack it. Because 3 months is not enough time. Like, you need at least 1 to 2 years. And it's so good to prepare yourself. Like, when I moved here, I knew it was going to be really tough. Like, I will never forget the feeling when I was on that plane, and I will never forget the feeling when we were on that plane leaving Birmingham. I think it was the last flight they ever did out of Birmingham, actually, funnily enough. But when we were leaving Birmingham, it was kind of like it hit us both that we were leaving. Like, we just said goodbyes very emotionally to our parents, and it was happening. And you really want to get your family to support you, because you're going to need them. Like, we've been so lucky to have parents and friends and everybody who have supported us, and they've come to visit us, and that really, really helps, because it just helps ground you, especially if you're traveling within Canada, because Canada is so big, loads of places to travel. But it's just kind of funny, guys, because I always thought when I was moving here that I knew it was going to be a challenge, but I didn't realize it was going to be as challenging as it was. And it truly was. I mean, when we moved here, we literally had a suitcase each. We didn't take anything else. And we just kind of started from there. We were in an Airbnb. It didn't even have a proper kitchen. But, you know, if you have that kind of, I think it's best. I think if there's any tip I could give you, it's when you're in that state at the very beginning, when you move and you're all excited and it seems like a vacation which lasts about 4 to 6 weeks. That's when you want to go out and try and make friends, try and meet people, because you're in a really good state at that point. And we were lucky that the Airbnb we were staying at, we ended up becoming really good friends with the guy who owned it. And he was like this immigrant from Iran, and yeah, we became the best of friends. And it was so grounding and so nice to have that happen. But in a lot of ways, I look back on everything that has happened and I think, you know, wow, like we were so lucky when I really think about it, because for a lot of people, they don't get that. And like, same goes for my manager when I was working. So I became good friends with my manager at my first job in Canada. And that really, really helped, because he was Canadian and he really helped me kind of integrate into Canadian society, I could say. Like, because I shadowed him for about 3 to 4 months, something like that. But it was amazing. But you know what, guys? It's kind of funny that things happen like that, because we were extremely lucky and I appreciate it. I really do. And, you know, if I know more, because it was really about 6 months in, I started learning about psychology and everything like that. And that was because I guess I really wanted to learn to control my mind, because we were in a bad situation, like financially, things were so tight, and everything was so uncertain. Now, if you're a woman, it's even more difficult, and I think that's why my girlfriend struggled so much. Now, women, one of most women's core values, and this is just the difference between men and women, is security. So security means certainty, and we had no certainty in the beginning, because we were just on a work permit. It was timed, you know, and we just didn't know whether we were going to have residence. We had to just take it one day at a time, really, because that's all you can do when you're in a situation like that. You can't just think about it all the time and say, oh, what if it doesn't happen, and get really depressed. But yeah, it is tough. It is tough mentally, because you're always wondering, what if? But, you know, the funny thing is that through all of this, like, I've learned the best life skills, and that's why I don't regret anything. Like, all the problems I had have made me tougher today than I was before I encountered them. And that's how I look at different things now. There's no point wallowing in pain and fear. It just doesn't do our bodies or our minds any good at all. And it's like, you know what, guys? We lost another cat, another rescue that we hadn't even had him 2 years. And it's so sad we lost him, and I'm not going to go into detail because it'll just trigger me to get emotional about it and upset. But the thing is, in that moment, it was terrible, sad. And then the next day, that moment had passed, and it was time to appreciate all the good times we had. And you just have to look at life that way. When our other cat passed away, I was distraught beyond belief, and I spiraled into a pattern of depression, which really was just so bad. And you can even, you know, you can look at my older videos and you can see it and you can hear it in my voice that I'm just so upset, so fed up, so sad. And you know, the thing is, I now believe like we can truly control our minds. Like we really can if we just understand how to use them. And it's just kind of funny, you know. Moving here was like a psychological challenge. It was like psychological warfare, actually. And there's no regrets. There really isn't. That I'm not pumping myself saying that. There just isn't, because, like I said, everything that knocked me to the ground, I got up stronger from it. And I wouldn't be the person I am today, hungry for all the desires and all the goals that I have in life. I wouldn't have those if it wasn't for all those shitty times. Now, I don't even know, guys, whether this video is even going to come out, because this phone is a Samsung. It's my work phone. My other phone is broke. I still haven't got it back, so I am short of video equipment. And now I got my big camera, which is absolutely terrible for vlogging because the shake is so bad on it. So I haven't been using that. One other thing, because it's actually funny, a family friend was saying, to when the pandemic started and everything, she was saying, oh, like, surprised that you don't want to move back to England and everything like that. And I was kind of thinking, it's truly the opposite, actually, because, you know, with the pandemic, we've really realized that we have so much more freedom over here than we have in the UK. Like, the lockdowns here have been nothing. It's never really shut down. And it's good because, you know, it shouldn't, in my opinion. Like, you can say what you want. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys are all good. And leave a comment in the comment section below if you want something else that maybe we should talk about on the next vlog. Let me know below. And I will see you in the next video, guys. Peace and love. Take care.